Yo. Yo. I don't know why I started off like that, but sure. Okay, let's have a look at the audio. It seems okay so far, but it might be a lot louder when I start it for real. So yeah, this is Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which is the fourth and final Call of Juarez game. And I haven't played this in years, but I remember thinking it was very good at the time, so let's play, shall we? I don't like it when games don't have an easy, like they put normal as the easiest mode. I'm just gonna pick normal because it's called normal, but usually I go for the middle option, you know? So when normal is quote unquote the easiest, it sort of throws me off.
Easy, boy.
Don't I know you, sir?
Don't believe so. I haven't been here in many years. Name's Silas Greaves.
Silas Greaves? The bounty hunter?
Used to be.
What are you doing here in Abilene?
Just passing through. Got a little business to take care of.
Well, sir, it would be an honor if you would allow me to buy you a beer.
Hell, son, it would be my honor to drink it.
I'm Molly. Howdy.
I'm Dwight. That's Jack and Steve. Ben's behind the bar. Oh, I bet you got some great stories.
A couple.
Any of them true?
Jack, be nice.
A few.
What about your shootout with Henry Plummer's gang in Bannock, Montana? Is that where you started as a bounty hunter? That's what it says in this here dime novel.
Don't believe everything you read in them dime novels, boy. First man I hunted was back when I was riding with Billy the Kid.
You knew Billy the Kid?
Damn right. That scrawny son of a bitch had no fear. Wouldn't back down for nobody.
I heard he collected the 10 stars off any crooked lawmen who crossed him.
It was a war, boy. The Lincoln County War. And Billy promised his regulators would take the life of every bastard who helped bushwhack John Tunstall.
Kid had a big chip on his shoulder and a hair-trigger temper. Made him dangerous as hell.
Once upon a time in Stinking Springs, Silas Graves arrived in Abilene in 1910 claiming he had ridden with Billy the Kid and something it said there.
It was about 30 years ago. Billy was hiding out in an abandoned farm near Stinking Springs.
This is my first time playing the PC
I
version.
threw in with the kid because the man I had sworn vengeance on was riding with Billy's enemies. But before I tell you why I want that sumbitch dead, let me tell you what happened that day.
I'm gonna turn down things slightly.
I was heading back to the hideout when suddenly I had this funny feeling.
Funny, haha.
No, Steve. The other kind of funny.
The FOV is kind of low, isn't it? I would say these are average chain graphics. At least they swing. At least they have physics to them. Hello, Landlord John. Thank you and welcome back to you as well. That is a beautiful cow right there. Or a bull, I guess. It has lovely horns. Hit the O button to see what you're supposed to be doing. You can't pet the bull, unfortunately.
That's not fair. We're missing all the fun.
I knew those two morons would never let me through. I had no choice.
Who's that? Is he with us?
You gain experience by killing enemies. You need it for leveling up and gaining extra abilities. Just like in real
Was
life.
it Pat Garrett's posse?
Oh yeah. I heard the shots and I knew I had to move fast. Garrett and his army of deputies had surrounded the entire homestead. I decided to help Billy and the boys out a bit.
Gunning down
that's
enemies
just
fills
what
your
I did.
concentration gauge. Press Q to enter concentration.
As the governor of New Mexico was paying for the kids' apprehension, Garrett was able to hire every gun hand in Lincoln County.
I should probably turn this down more, huh? Hello MSX, how's it going? You are correct. Try something like that. What is that? A secret. Press U. You have one skill point to spend here. Select any of the 3 skill categories if it pursues its leftmost skill. So we can go Gunslinger, Ranger, or Trapper. Dual wield revolvers. That one slows down time when you aim. And this one gives you more resistance up close. I'll go with this one because it's the name of the game. I don't like that when you're switching weapons, it's clearly like designed for a D-pad. They should have like redid the UI if you're playing it with a keyboard, you know?
Garrett's men were running around.
I'm glad to hear
like
you're doing fine,
chickens with
all
their
things
heads
considered.
Still, one of them reached the water tower.
You can avoid lethal shots only when your sense of
Not a
death is
bad
fully
idea.
charged.
It would be a turkey shoot from up there.
Avoid the bullet by using A or D. Like that.
Luckily, these shooters Garrett hired weren't the sharpest tools in the shed.
I think you did mention it before. It rings a bell. But
Right position
yeah,
is
that's really
very
cool.
important. Personally, I prefer to be on top.
Oh, you do you?
Indeed, darling. But where was I? Oh, yeah.
I mean, I picked up this gun because it looked like it was better. But but it doesn't seem that different.
A lot of them were saddle tramps or sod busters or drunken drifters looking to make a few bucks.
Fight your way to the rear entrance of the farmhouse. Yeah, I think this game just generally is loud, isn't it? Is that just me? I don't mind the cutscenes being kind of loud, because I'm not going to talk during those anyway. If that's too quiet, let me know. I can turn it back up again.
Then, I heard a friendly voice yelling at me from the window. Back door! We'll cover you!
Try aiming, you idiots!
Truth be told, things weren't much better behind the house. I cut their numbers in half, but that just made the ones that were left twice as mad.
Yeah, it looks good to me as well.
They made up for their lack of skill with a seemingly endless supply of ammo.
I'm sorry to disappoint, MSX.
It was a bit of a slog, but I finally fought my way around the back of the house.
You can't jump down, unfortunately. Oh no, you can. I broke my legs, but it was worth it.
And like that, I was inside, none the worse for wear.
Oh, sorry.
I passed Dirty Dave,
Sorry, Dirty Div.
and upstairs I found Billy and Charlie Beaudry.
How about that? Huh? You like that?
Billy looked at me and said, "About time, amigo. Grab a gun and get to the window."
Wait, so you were friends with Billy the Kid?
Yeah, sort of. Anyway, we were surrounded by dozens of deputized shooters who wanted to do us harm. I'm telling you, Garrett's men were dropping like flies, but they just kept on coming.
Yeah, I have no real interest in Starfield.
That's when Charlie got hit. "They're catching
Oh
us in
no,
a
not
crossfire,"
Charlie.
shouted Billy. "Get to the other side."
Damn, that was loud.
What are you shooting at? He's literally shooting at nothing. A ghost, perhaps?
I don't know how many of those cocksuckers I personally put down, but it was pretty clear, even to Billy, that maybe discretion was the better part of valor.
What's that mean?
It means that it was time to cut and run. "They got a Gatling," Billy shouted. "Get the horses and bring them round back. I'll draw their attention."
Okay, let's run.
He directed that order at me, and I thought, why the hell do I have to do it?
Oh look, it's like Modern Warfare 2. Slow-mo breaches.
Poor sons of bitches are
Many
done
would have
for.
fled in my place. But I had that false sense of invincibility that many young men have. Like Jack here.
What are you saying, old man?
Jack, he's just joshing with you now.
Yeah, he better be.
Mr. Greaves, please continue.
Please, call me Silas, ma'am. Now, where was I?
Boss battle.
Go ahead.
Wish me luck. Pretty
You were
epic.
heading for the barn.
Is there? I'm trying to see if there's a melee button in there. F. Okay, that's what I was looking for. I was trying to see if I could whack the shield out of his hands. Oh, the game literally just taught me how to melee. That's funny.
Right. Making my way past a passel of fallen foes.
Sounds like Garrett hired a whole regiment of hired guns.
Yeah, and just when I thought I was done with them, more of these hapless bastards would pop up.
Metro Last Light also got cancelled for the Wii U.
Finally, I had the stables within my reach.
Nice chickens there.
And that's when I met Sheriff Pat Garrett.
I read that you went toe-to-toe with him, sir. That backstabbing bastard with that tacked-on tin star.
Sounds about right, MSX, yeah. Ham-handed? Oh, I don't remember how any of this works. And I've never played this on PC before.
Dime novel?
So I extra don't know how this works.
Your measure with eyes like a rattlesnake.
Keep your enemy in focus by using your mouse. Oh, it's really slow though. And it's like swimmy. When your opponent reaches for their gun, press left click to draw your weapon. Aim with the mouse and then shoot with left click. Not a good shot, Vodster. The first shot was well off. Try that again. Well, the Wii U controller would have been actually a good fit for an Aliens game. You know, with the motion tracker and stuff. There we go.
You killed him in a fair fight.
Is that what that Penny Dreadful said? No, boy. That ain't what I meant when I said I met Pat Garrett. So let me start again. I finally reached those damn stables. And stepped inside, and
Oh no.
last thing I heard was Garrett's voice. That's not Billy.
And go on. How did it end?
And, boy, that was just the beginning.
I killed 66 people in that level. I didn't think it was that many. Seems like it was a bit easy after all. Would you like to switch to hard? Sure. I actually will do it then. Yes, go for it. Give me the hards. The hardness.
So what happened? Did Garrett arrest you?
Yeah, after I came to. bastard had clocked me with his Colt.
And the kid surrendered?
When he realized there was no getting out of there alive.
So they locked you up in Lincoln?
Indeed they did. Sentenced me to hang right along with the kid.
After Stinking Springs, Billy the Kid and Silas Graves ended up in jail. They remained there until the spring. You have to read that quickly before it moves on to the next tip.
Billy so I could find the bastard I was after. He was with
1881.
John Kinney's gang, and they were sworn enemies of Billy's regulators.
Why were you after him?
I owed that son of a bitch a bullet for what he had done to me and mine. Instead, all I got for myself was a goddamn death sentence. Luckily, it was right around then that I heard Billy make his move. He shot Jim Bell and a few other guards as he made his getaway. Later, they wrote that some lady friend planted a pistol for him in the privy. What the papers didn't say is that Billy helped me escape too.
Ah.
My first order of business was finding a firearm.
Does that count as a secret? I don't think that's really in the true, spirit of the word secret, It's just lying there, for you, waiting for you to pick it up. Longer combos might be good. I'll take that back.
Luckily, I located Deputy Bob Ollinger's mean-ass shotgun.
Hello, Rocket Man plays. How are you?
I saw Billy through the window, and he yelled that I should take to the rooftops to make my escape. So I did.
Anybody see Billy? That little son of a bitch shot Jim Bell!
This game is actually more violent than I remember it being.
The kids escaped raised a huge ruckus. Hell yeah. That scatter gun was like a double-barreled howitzer. It could blow a man clear off his feet. You hardly had to aim the damn thing. Guards were everywhere looking for him.
I really like the second one, Bound in Blood. That might be my favorite Call of Juarez game. It's either between that or this. So I recommend the second game.
Roof to roof like a damn alley cat. I followed the planks where I could, but some of that wood was slippery as hell. The whole town was up in arms. And suddenly, I was a fugitive.
That's you, Macaroni. Immediately coming into the stream and saying, "Is your stream on fire?" No, it's you, Macaroni. I don't think you're supposed to kill these guys, but when there's people to be killed, I might as well get the points for it, right? I'm nearly out of ammo though. Nah, we'll keep moving. But yes, welcome back, Macaroni. I hope you enjoys your, I don't know, whatever it was you were doing in the last hour or so. Oh, you're not supposed to drop down there, it turns out. Apparently that's like instant death. It's kind of lame. I guess they want you to go along here. But
bastard you were after.
You did go down there
What
at some
did he
point.
do? He did me and my family a grievous harm. But I knew if I was ever gonna find him, I would need to get my ever-loving ass out of there. I tried to be stealthy and sneak my way past.
This town doesn't have a moment's peace.
$6. I would personally say that's pretty good. Yeah.
But hell, if they weren't all waiting for me. Apparently, some of them thought I was Billy.
He's in town somewhere.
See, me and the kid shared a certain similarity in build and coloring. I was just glad I had Deputy Bob's mean-ass shot.
Well, this is the last one, Macaroni. This is the most recent one. Better than Overwatch 2. I mean, anything's better than Overwatch 2. Presumably. Cartel, yeah, it was. They don't sell that anymore. They pretend that game never existed.
They're shooting in the street.
Understandable, yeah.
Get your heads down.
There's children here.
It is pretty rotten.
So much lead was whizzing by my head, it was like everyone in Lincoln wanted to put me in the ground.
There's no
I
lead.
knew I needed to find a horse. Though I never did have a great fondness for those four-legged grass eaters. Smelly, sweaty, ungrateful beasts. We prize them too high, if you ask me.
I guess you had enough, huh? Surrender yourself.
Bad shooting there.
Put down your weapon.
I've actually never owned a Blizzard game, ever. I don't think.
Coward.
You're threatening the lives of innocent people.
Yeah, on Steam I just have this and Bound in Blood. I don't have the first one on Steam, and I don't have the Cartel either.
Damn town's going to hell in a handbasket.
But where was the kid while you were busy getting shot at?
Gone. And that's when it occurred to me why Billy set me free.
Strangely, I only have Clear Sky on Steam, and I don't know why. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. What a failure.
So I could be a hapless decoy and draw attention while he snuck out of town. I knew if I made it out of there in one piece, no one would put a price on my head.
Because everybody in Lincoln would be dead?
No, because they all thought I was Billy. And all that blame would fall on him. Meanwhile, Deputy Bob Ollinger was organizing a posse to put me down.
Yeah, I
He
did.
was already a mean son of a bitch, but he was doubly pissed that I stole his mean-ass shotgun.
I did
Anyway,
play the
it was me
beta
or
for
them.
the first
The only way
Overwatch.
forward led me straight to perdition. But the cards were dealt, and I had no choice but to play them.
Oh wow, they kill you really quick. I mean, I am playing on hard, so I wanted to melee that guy, but I guess that's just not a good idea when you're playing on hard. Which is fair enough. Of this game, Rocket Man, or Overwatch? Not sure if you can hit the top of his head from here. I used to own the first Stalker on physically. Yeah, well, the art style reminds me a lot of Borderlands as well. That kind of cell shaded kind of look, stylized visuals. The game reminds me a little bit of Bulletstorm, if you've ever played it, just because of like all of the scores and like the game tells you like what kind of kill you just did and all that kind of thing. But Bulletstorm was really crazy. Legacy of Kain Defiance, I rented that back when it was new.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. The stables on the edge of town.
I guess Billy saved your ass, taking out Bob Ollinger the way he did.
Billy didn't kill Bob.
Well, sure he did. He dispatched him right after he shot Deputy Bell.
No, sir. Because Bob came right up behind me, angry as hell that Billy had lit out. "Hello, Bob," I said. "I think you better let me go." And he says, "I don't think so, boy. Not with my shotgun." So we stood there in the middle of the street, eyeball to eyeball. He intended to kill me, and I knew I had no choice but to defend myself.
Adjust your hand position using A and D for a faster draw. Okay. When you hit a heartbeat, you can draw your gun first, but this will be noted as a dishonorable act. I'm a good man, but I'm also dead. It might take a while to get used to this mechanic on PC. Damn it. Yeah, was it Amy Hennig who worked on that? See, I know my stuff. The Legacy of Kain games were quite popular. They weren't like mega successes, but they were popular enough back then. It was more of a cult franchise. There we
Killed
go.
him in a fair fight. Everybody saw I had no damn choice. Well, Lincoln got a mite depopulated that day. Pat Garrett gunned down Billy 3 months later, so his escape was all for naught anyway.
Yeah, I think I borrowed Soul Reaver 2 off someone back in the day. I had the first one as well on PlayStation, but I didn't play it that
So
much.
where'd you go after Lincoln?
Mexico. until I realized nobody was looking for me. I ended up taking a job at the Rurales.
The Mexican Ruales?
I was hired to help them track down the cowboys.
Cowboys?
The most vicious outlaw gang in Cochise County? Curly Bill Brocious? Johnny Ringo?
Led by old man Clanton himself.
They must have paid you a pretty penny to take them hombres on.
Not really. But truth be told, I had my own reasons for going after those boys.
Yeah. PC ports around that time period were pretty rotten. They were pretty bad, a lot of them.
So was the bastard you were after now riding with the cowboys?
Roscoe Bob Bryant was his name.
Oh.
But no, this time it was a different bastard I was after. The aforementioned Mr. Ringo. And yes, he was working for old man Clanton. I came upon them robbing a stagecoach, which wasn't surprising, being they were such murderous thieves and bastards. The bandits wore red scarves, so I knew they worked for the old man.
Over there! There!
I did my best to help those poor passengers. Moments later, the attackers were dead, and I checked the stagecoach to see how many passengers were still breathing. None. It was then I wondered if the rocks weren't hiding more bandits. Was that all of them? Or did I just hit the rear guard? I quickly got my answer. They attacked from on high like Apaches often did.
Yeah, I honestly can't think of any good ones, I
They
must
would
say.
appear in great numbers from above and rain down lead on their hapless enemies' heads, making use of the high ground and whatever else they had. Yep, the Apaches always appeared out of nowhere, and there never seemed to be an end to them.
Hold on. Were you attacked by Apaches? What happened to the cowboys?
Did I say they were Apaches? I said Clanton's cowboys attacked me Apache style. I was in a pitched battle, but I was holding my own against an overwhelming enemy force.
Changing the story as we go along. I actually really like the concept of this game. It's pretty cool.
But often blunder into regrettable situations. But I just kept shooting at anything I could see up in those damn rocks. I didn't see Ringo, but I knew he was with the cowboys. He and Roscoe Bob had done me a dreadful wrong, and I was determined to have my revenge. But to get to Ringo, I knew I'd have to fight my way past these other assholes first.
Yeah, exactly, MSX. Because back then, like,
Unfortunately, I was running out of ammo.
you pretty much had to do
Another
each version of the
example
game
of my relative
from scratch
inexperience
if you
as
had
a
to,
hunter of
if it
men.
was actually going to be good, you know.
I immediately knew that a tactical retreat was called for, as my vengeful fury was much less impressive without the bullets to back it up. Finally, they managed to corner me. Trapped as I was, the odds of my survival seemed pretty slim. Luckily, serendipity was on my side as I suddenly spotted a way out of my predicament.
All of which were made for the Dreamcast, not released for the Dreamcast, because of course Half-Life
I
got
ran
canned,
ahead,
but
as if the devil
they all got
himself
Dreamcast ports.
Bullets were whizzing by my ears, but I wasn't about to roll over and die.
Oh,
I
might have
just
been.
kept running like there was no tomorrow. Because there wouldn't be if Clanton and his men caught up with me. As I was scurrying around those caves, I thought, what was I thinking? Going up against a gang like this.
It's not obscure, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Nothing obscure about it. I had it. Pretty sure a friend of mine had it back in the day. It wasn't obscure. Pretty easy to get.
Hard to hit a moving target.
Is it actually expensive now? Like, does it go for money? Yeah, I used to have the original Xbox version of Half-Life 2.
Nowhere to run.
It was actually good if you never played the PC version, which is obviously what that port was. Like that was the target audience for it. So
Not knowing where the hell I was going.
I actually might have it as well.
And that's
It
when
might be in my
something
box with all
miraculous
my Xbox games in it. I'm not sure.
happened. Manna from heaven. I found the desiccated remains of what looked like an Apache warrior. The old weapon next to him supplied me with some much-needed ammunition.
Yeah, I might have that too. I would have to have a look for you.
That master
But I know I
someone
used to
told
have
me it was
Fallout
more
Brotherhood
important
as
to be lucky than good, and he would know.
Yeah, and I have
And
that
imagine
too.
my
I'm
surprise
pretty
when I
sure.
found a fistful of dynamite to go along with that ammo. That stroke of good fortune evened the odds and bolstered my confidence. It was time to turn the tables. Time for the prey.
They just kind of
predator.
stood still for my
Time
dynamite.
For the hunted to become the hunter. Time.
All right, Jesus, we get it. They were right where you wanted them.
That's right, Jack. I was done running. The old
Nice.
man's boys were not expecting that.
It's not as bad as people make it out the way.
I came at them like a wildcat.
Most people who shit on GTA Advance never actually played it.
It was finally time for that old man to pay for his sins.
Old man Clanton.
I yelled out at the top of my lungs, "Clanton, I'm coming for you!" A little stealth might have made more sense, to be perfectly honest. Because that old fool had a Gatling gun and enough bullets to last him till Kingdom Come. But I knew I could not let that deter me.
Yeah, the frame rate was pretty bad.
Not if I was to find and kill Ringo. I needed to get that old man off that gun.
I'm surprised I survived that. I thought I was done for there. No, that was my yeah. That was bad. I like that he announces the fact that he's reloading at the top of his lungs. Obviously that's like a gameplay thing to let the player know you can move now, you know. We Dare, yeah, I remember that game.
Let me tell you, that was the longest
Peggy
uphill
12,
climb
right?
of my entire damn life. Well, one of the longest. There was that one time I was pursuing Frank James, Jesse James's brother.
Jesse James?
Perhaps we could talk about that one later. Now, where was I? Right. I had old man Clanton in my sights. Most everyone thought it was the Ruales who had come up against him in Guadalupe Canyon. But it was just me.
Wait! Goddamn boat! Drive me instead, you coward! What a piece of...
There we go.
apparently one of the cowboys made it out of there alive and told Ike and Billy Clanton that it wasn't a Mexican who took their father's life that day. They just assumed it was one of the Earps, and that little misunderstanding eventually led to that legendary gunfight at the OK Corral.
Oh, I have a Fast and Furious Showdown as well. Not on Wii U, obviously, but I do own it. I actually forgot it came out on Wii U.
A few weeks after that dust-up at the OK Corral, I was still after Johnny Ringo. I had tracked him and the cowboys to their hideout at a sawmill, and they were loaded for bear.
Somebody's coming!
So, what exactly did Johnny Ringo do to piss you off?
Well, him and that other bastard.
Roscoe Bob Bryant?
Yep. They both deserve to die, and I promise I'll tell you why.
Really?
First,
That's pretty amazing, MSX.
Cowboys' new boss, Curly Bill Brocious.
Herb's coming! Get ready, boys.
Curly Bill took charge of the cowboys upon the old man's demise, and after that gunfight at the OK Corral, the Clantons wanted revenge. So they murdered Morgan Earp and grievously wounded his older brother, Virgil. Wyatt and Doc went on what became known as the Vendetta Ride, hunting those outlaws down. So when I showed up, that's who they thought I was.
A nice log. Wow, that's pretty
There were
cool.
killers around every corner, all wearing red bandanas.
Ghosts
That's
came
how
out
the
on Wii
cowboys
U as well,
identified
right?
each other. And I was beginning to wish I had one myself. But I wasn't about to let Ringo walk away unscathed. And that's what drove me forward.
They say that Ringo was infernally fast.
I hardly saw anyone faster, boy. Certainly not Wyatt Earp. That man was all hat and no cap.
I feel you.
Earp wasn't much of a match for him, but Doc Holliday might have taken him.
That lunger should have kept his nose out of it. They never charged anyone for the murder of Morgan Earp.
But everybody knew that Curly shot him in the back. That was common knowledge.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
maybe so. But Ringo
It was
had
the
nothing to
director's
do with
cut,
it.
right? Or
He
whatever
was
it's
just being
called.
loyal to a friend.
Is that what you call it? Being loyal. Well, to get to that loyal friend, I had to pass by some buzzsaws as big as a man.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
What's that, Dwight?
After old man Clanton died, why didn't his son take over the cowboys?
Because Ike Clanton was dumber than a box of rocks and a yellow belly to boot.
Well, that's that question sorted. That looks a bit weird. Is that supposed to be like the gun being wet? It looks weird. I don't like it.
Now, where was I?
Taking down the entire cowboy gang single.
It looks glitchy. I don't think that's
Indeed I
intentional.
was, Jack.
That guy just appeared. Legendary weapon unlocked. Inlaid 6-shooter. Not just pretty, but an engineering masterpiece and a very deadly firearm. The simplified trigger mechanism and longer barrel provide for a faster rate of fire and better handling. So did I just get that? Yeah.
Though it wasn't easy, as those boys had good cover.
Yeah, Mass Effect 3 was a launch title for the Wii U. And it was actually like a decent port. It was actually not too bad. It was better than the PS3 version, because the PS3 version was dog shit. Yeah, they did, yeah. For people to catch up on. It was a bit weird putting like the final part of a trilogy out on like a system that never had you know, the previous games.
There were carts everywhere, piles of lumber, and God knows what else for people to hide behind. That really was one hell of a sawmill. Quite an impressive operation.
Yeah, not sure about this rain, Chief. I have to say, diagonal rain. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. What about you guys? What do you think of the rain here? Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, about Mass Effect 3. The Wii U version was actually pretty decent. I can't actually jump up that. Can you believe it? I can't jump up that. What an absolute joke. There we go. Maybe my frame rate's too high or something. I mean, it's not much better. MSX, honestly.
Bill? Did you see him?
I'm about to get to that, Ben. Patience. I'm painting a picture here. There was this beautiful waterfall and a crystal clear stream that led to a verdant valley that was truly...
Consider your picture painted. What happened next?
Well, finally the bastards that were still alive made a last stand. Curly Bill, Johnny Ringo, and his compadres took off into the lumber yard, and I followed after.
Takes a shot before he takes a shot. I see what they did there. Defeat Curly Bill.
Are you saying they ran? Cowardice was not in Ringo nor Curly Bill's nature.
No, sir. I never said they were running scared. They just wanted me out in the open.
Wish me luck. This might be difficult. Oh, cool, MSX, yeah. See? Got absolutely obliterated. Handshake, that's what that's called. Shot in the back.
Why is he still standing? Hiding like a scared little puppy.
There we go.
Brocious gave me no choice but to take his life. But Ringo was nowhere to be found.
Ringo Starr.
I knew you didn't kill Ringo, because he was found dead in a different location altogether.
To this day, his killer is still unknown.
Indeed. Took me a few months before I finally tracked his ass to West Turkey Creek Canyon.
Look at that day and night cycle there, it was pretty sick. Time lapse. Johnny Ringo, here we go.
That's incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Sorry I had to ruin the legend for you, boy. But the legend ain't always true.
I did it first try. Can you believe
Holiday
it?
had nothing to do with the death of Johnny Ringo.
I'm not very good at getting these nuggets of truth, though. Thank you, John.
I was paid a healthy bounty for Ringo and Curly Bill, and realized there was real money to be made. That's why I went after Henry Plummer.
Now, wasn't he the sheriff who augmented his income by shaking down miners and robbing gold shipments?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. He ran that gang of thieving outlaws called the Innocents.
So it's true that you went toe-to-toe with him?
Indeed I did, son.
Manhunt
Indeed I
had a
did.
gang called the Innocents. But it was with a Z at the end.
I knew I needed resources if I was going to track down Roscoe Bob Bryant. And hunting Plummer looked like a good way to get rich quick.
You get
The
15
local
points for shooting a
vigilantes
bird.
exposed him as the leader of the bandits.
Unbelievable.
And put a generous price on his head. Plummer rallied his gang to plunder one last gold mine before making their escape. And that's where I thought I'd find him.
It makes me nervous standing so close to all these goddamn barrels of gunpowder. Why would you
As my late father pointed out to me more than once, God made men, but Samuel Colt made them equal.
I guess we're going in here? Yep. There's a secret for you. It's been a while. Maybe that isn't the way to go though.
I knew that dynamite wasn't mine, so I decided the polite thing would be to return it.
You can shoot dynamite in the
It
air.
was the biggest gold rush since Sutter's Mill in '48. Unfortunately, prospectors weren't the only ones drawn to those riches. There were thieves and killers, robbing travelers and hijacking gold shipments. like those that ran with Plummer. Some were just regular folks I knew from town, drawn by greed and easy pickings. Charlie Crow, the blacksmith. James, who worked in the stable. Sam and Jeremiah Barber, the butcher's sons. Plummer had a lot of men on his payroll. A hell of a lot. That son of a bitch pretended to protect the public with one hand while stealing them blind with the other. Of course, the rest were veterans of the Civil War. Stone-cold killers trained on the bloody fields of Shiloh and Antietam. He set up a defensive perimeter which I had no idea how to breach. Dangerous, desperate individuals. I thought I was some kind of hero.
This game has a lot of dialogue in it, doesn't it? It's hard to speak over it.
Made it past and headed on to meet my
Case in
destiny.
point.
But first, I had something I needed to figure out. I had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense.
This is a portal, huh?
It was the quickest way in, but that also made it more dangerous, as there would undoubtedly be enemy pickets posted along the way.
The blood is quite Borderlandsy as well.
Time to die.
Besides, once you enter a mine like that, it's easy to get all turned around.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that confusing maze of corridors wouldn't even be the worst of it. Some of those shafts could be as deep as hell. A single stumble or misstep can easily end in a deadly plunge to oblivion.
You ain't beefing me.
Quick reflexes often make up for a lack of common sense. Luckily, I was never one to be easily bushwhacked.
Well, I actually thought there was going to be a quick time event, but the quick time event never came. So I guess I am easily bushwhacked.
I would just need to be careful not to blow myself to Kingdom Come. With all that gunpowder and dynamite everywhere,
Whoops.
a body has to know what he's shooting at. All it
I'm
takes
really
is
good at
one
this game,
tiny
aren't I?
spark, and boom.
And congratulations, Landlord John. Another super duper mega jackpot.
One wrong bullet could have turned that mine into a dad-blasted tomb. I freely admit that my plan of attack was not just moronic, but clearly insane.
That was cool.
It's a good thing that I abandoned that ridiculous plan before I even tried it. Instead, I spotted a ladder, a way into the mine from the opposite.
See, I like this game. It's pretty cool.
It was a long way around, but that approach seemed more sensible at the time. Of course, being I had a problem with heights, that scaffolding scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, you're doing well,
Climbing down
John.
that ladder required some caution. Because even though I had a younger man's reflexes, no man can dodge a damn bullet while climbing down a rickety ladder. I was determined not to give up, however. As Sheriff Plummer seemed quite the despicable character. When the vigilantes discovered what the sheriff was up to, people were outraged. That 10,000 they put on his head would go a long way to helping me find old Bob.
Good old
I
Bob.
made it my mission to settle that score come hell or high water.
I do not deserve to die like this.
What, Call of Juarez, the
Make a
cartel?
choice. Take the elevator or climb the ladder.
Hello, Grim. I can confirm that I have never streamed this game before. I hope
Pick
you're
the
doing
more
well.
convenient and more dangerous route.
No, you're absolutely right, Grim. It will happen.
Plummer was a mad dog killer, and the people of Nevada City deserved better.
Nevada City? Well, I thought Plummer met his maker in Bannock, Montana.
Right, well, he was the sheriff of both places at one time or another, but that's neither here nor there. The point was, taking him down would save a lot of lives, including my own.
I appreciate anyone who checks the sheet. I have lots of stuff to add to the sheet now that I'm done with the Quake 2 stuff. Alright, I see. Henry Plummer. I haven't checked it in a while, Graham, I don't think. It's been a little while, for sure.
Well, this day is just getting worse and worse for you, ain't it?
Henry Plummer was clearly unhinged, and I could see right away that this was going to take some doing.
Get out here!
Oh, I thought you might have put Ms. Blowsman on it.
I'm going all medieval on your ass. I need some help here.
Okay.
Come on, boys. Take this cocksucker out. He's cutting us down like corn. Yeah, you know you can't beat me. Gonna blow you into next week, boy! Time to blow your shit up!
Yeah. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Be better if I had a rifle for this part, but I don't. But I don't.
You
Oh, they gave me a checkpoint mid-fight. That's kind of them, isn't it?
Guess you've had enough. I'm going all medieval on your ass. Keep pissing me off. See what it gets you. No blood money for you today. They're gonna bury you in a million pieces. Do this. You kill him, or I kill you. You can shoot, but can you aim?
Yeah, hard difficulty seems like it might be a fair bit harder than the normal mode, but I don't mind. I can throw dynamite too.
Weak boy, run! I'm going all medieval on your ass. I got a lot more dynamite than you. That's this, you son of a bitch! You can shoot, but can you aim? I'm gonna bury you in a million pieces! Why don't you just join the circus? You ain't taking me! Well, that one, didn't ya? I can shoot too! What incarnation? No blood money for you today! Run! They're gonna burn you in a million pieces! Keep pissing me off! See what it gets you! This cocksucker is smarter than he looks! What do you think you're doing?
There we go.
So that's how Henry Plummer died. Him and his crew were worth their weight in gold. And now, I was officially a bounty hunter.
So, did you finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin. So that's where I went.
Where in Kansas?
Abilene. Why do you ask, Ben?
No reason.
Was Hardin as fast as Ringo?
Ringo was fast, but John Wesley was as fast as the devil himself. Hell, he killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody, not even Wild Bill Hickok himself. I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was no different. I was there with the intention of finding that bastard Bob and collecting the bounty on John Wesley.
I'm very close to leveling up. Isn't that exciting?
I thought the Texas Rangers got hardened.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. It was cold in a witch's tit and a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres.
Any brass bra fans in the audience tonight?
To the very same saloon we're sitting in today. Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me, and...
It was.
Wait, I'm jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shit, it's cold out here. I'm freezing my giblets off. Ain't right, we gotta stay out here keeping watch like this. Ain't no better sleeper than us. God damn it! Shoot that son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there.
God damn it!
They knew. As most of them were wanted as well. I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun hands.
Let's have a look at our upgrades.
And that was easier said than done, as most of them were as foolish and full of bravado as I was. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends. Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their Jefe of my unwelcomed presence.
I was saying earlier, Grim, before you came, it's hard to talk over this game because it often does the talking for you.
Tell Hardin someone's coming for him.
Who's talking?
Stop that sumbitch! Let the boys know we got another law dog.
A law dog? I'll probably regret taking this, but... Oh no, you can't... Well... You can have like 2 sawed-off shotguns, that's kinda disappointing. I'll take it anyway, just to mix things up. It sounded like there were people behind me there, but... I guess not.
I wondered if Bob was among them.
The sawed-off shotgun seems, bad.
And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better. Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers.
I don't know how you did that with
Most of these degenerates
shotgun,
were
but
beyond
sure.
redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story.
Yeah, this gun sucks. Confirmed. I want to kill someone with it. Oh, hi there. I didn't see. Didn't know. Dear. Bring back quick too, am I right? Right. There we go. I'm happy.
I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
Imagine playing a game where you actually have to reload.
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon.
But as we discussed on Discord recently, controllers are better for reloading. Apparently.
Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me. In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
Yeah, this sawed-off shotgun is just the drizzling shit. Awful.
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
Here he is. Kill the man for snoring. Good to know,
I
Graham.
felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him. No, wait! He didn't hit me then. I'm sure of it.
Well, this is awkward.
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Bit of an underwhelming end.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Yes, I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, Revenge was also his primary motivation. A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven.
A long time ago on a mountain far, far away.
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
You get points for it. What can I say?
They saw me before I saw them.
And as we all know, points mean prizes.
And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting had started, there was no backing down.
There's someone behind me, right? Yeah.
It was rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas, and that's why they had retreated there. I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I got a lot of those.
As Robbie Williams once said, no regrets. They don't work.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout. A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you've been there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
Search the caves for Grey Wolf.
See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide. and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit, as they had torches on the wall.
Hints about enemies behind you. I could actually do with that, yeah. But I am mainly just working towards whatever this golden rifle is. It looks pretty good. Right, it is quite dark in here.
How big was his cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars. They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
How
Ricochet.
come you know so much about angels?
A few years back, I was married to 2 Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows. And I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk. I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle.
How convenient. A magic flight of stairs appeared.
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back.
That was lame. I ran forward and I just kind of slipped off it. I slipped on a banana peel and that was it. I was a goner. Not like this. I didn't run this time.
I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo is right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady. I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat.
Hold on, let me spend an upgrade. Executioner, deal some headshots without even aiming. Pressing and holding Q will eat up all your concentration in exchange from marking nearby enemies for execution with perfect headshots. Okay. And now I have the golden gun.
I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Well, that looked a bit weird, didn't it?
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before. I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air. Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty.
Sad.
Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of right?
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Grey Wolf, the Apache medicine man, offered Silas a mysterious warning, cautioning him not to wallow in the poison of bitterness and hate. Hello, Maze Grub.
It was early morning.
And goodbye, if you're going to
sleep.
sleep.
Was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always riding him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeyville just to shut her up. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property.
I hope you're doing well, Mazgrove.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker.
Good, I'm glad to hear
The
it.
marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait for some bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. So he went in there alone to confront
I
those
know,
criminals.
Misty, I'm absolutely crazy. And hello again, I hope you're doing
One of
well.
the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
A bit Brock Lesnar, sounds good. Are you still out?
From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
You can't play the piano. 0 out of 10.
Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
0 out of 10.
Is that Silas Greaves?
Yeah, no problem, Misty. See you later. Have fun.
That's right.
Exactly, Grim.
Come on, kill him.
Over there!
That's Silas Greaves.
What the hell?
Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened. It was early evening, not high noon. The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. I was late to the party, and Coffeyville was already up in arms. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
The leader, the
I've
lover,
been
and the
tracking
loser.
those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeyville. Waste your bullets. Go ahead.
That works.
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions.
Just having a quick look around. Nice pumpkins.
I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
It's a nice room. Nothing in the safe. Can't open the safe.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The 3rd brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work. It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
You messed with the wrong damn dog.
Why is he so tanky? And why is he so big? What's going on here?
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Over the years, Silas Graves became a famous bounty hunter. His main ambition, however, was to get his revenge on Bob Bryant. Thank you. Thank you, John. Much appreciated.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this!
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Thanks, Grim.
Track him to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Let's just shoot that.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks. It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood.
Fog and
The rains
swamps
that
hinder
year were
orientation.
torrential, so the whole
Waypoint indicator
area
is
was
disabled
flooded.
for this mission.
The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Oh no, that's how they work. I'm sure they covered it on Blue Peter at some point.
Bury 'em in the snow. Plant 'em where they stand.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone. I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
I've never tried maple syrup.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Yeah. Probably why I've never had it.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Shoot 'em in the head.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine it being nice. I've just never had the pleasure.
Point being, I was under serious attack, and my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
He's drunk with blood!
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes.
I feel like I don't really
scrambled
see
up
that
top to
on
get a better
menus
view.
though. I'll keep an eye out.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon
Oh,
Steve? Steve!
huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Indians? They were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Yeah, maple baked beans, that sounds horrible.
Not yet, but I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Let's just end this!
Oh, that worked.
Show 'em how to die!
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them. And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Good night, Macaroni. Thank you very much for being here as always, and I hope to see you again soon.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
There. Yeah. Getting close to someone in this game is very dangerous.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Gatling gun. This isn't good. Well, I feel like, you know, I got played there, you know? I got tricked.
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. But it turned out that they had me.
Oh, it was a trap.
I'm sending you to hell.
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway...
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
Max Payne vibes, yeah.
Getting back to that
That's where they
steamboat,
stole it from,
how'd you
obviously.
get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
It's quite convenient, isn't it?
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side,
Oh no, this isn't gonna
determined to
go
take
well.
me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
I need luck for this, for sure. Sad times.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled
Thank you.
14 years later, He moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Those are a little bit tricky because of the controls. Like, your aim is very slow and very floaty. And also, while you're trying to do that, you're also trying to do the thing with the hand above your gun. So it's kind of like, you know, tapping your head and rubbing your belly kind of thing. It's not that hard, but, you know, you're kind of doing two things at once.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told. It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
There you go, there's your motivation. Led by Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the Wild Bunch was the West's last famous outlaw gang.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Engraved Ranger.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop.
That was good, wasn't it?
Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. So I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge. What'd you say?
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there. I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Okay, now you're really pissed me off.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day. As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death.
It's pretty epic, isn't it?
Odds
NGL.
were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Pick this up just to mix things up. Might regret it though.
Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back. I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that? He's out of his mind! Take cover! Retreat! Retreat! He's killing everybody! He'll kill us all!
It's not as good as the super shotgun in Quake 2, is it?
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they?
There's an old clip of me playing the first Call of Juarez, and it's called "The Worst Kick Ever."
Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down front.
And I was just reminded of it there.
Bob's trail. Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But
It's
the
a
only
pretty good
survivor
clip.
who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that. On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America. They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Dallas Gravesclin said his relentless pursuit of Bob Bryant forced the leaders of the Wild Bunch to flee to South America. I think that's what it says.
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
That Kid Curry's kinda crazy, ain't he? Don't let him hear you saying that.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado.
We're under fire!
Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down.
Killing me.
Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts. And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific.
Trestle, that's a word you don't see every day. No problem, Grim. Enjoy your nap. And thank you for being here.
Of the weakest wooden supports. Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the Wild Bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children, though some say it was only 5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was gonna rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me.
This is quite nice looking, this part. I mean, it's quite a decent looking game overall still, but yeah, this part especially looks pretty good.
The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
But the Wild Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Guess there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
Oh, come on.
Of course, I had to tread carefully. Otherwise, I could, well, die.
Curious about that.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually, there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear. So I proceeded onward and realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
Sawed-off rifle. I just picked it up there to see what it looked like, but I'm sure this is better.
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long, burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion. But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass, as I was not a young man anymore.
Kill that SOB! Make him bleed! Send him to perdition!
Finally, I found those boys. Or more precisely, they found me.
Who the hell is that guy? It's Tracer! Dirty ass me! Not even a damn
Oh, that was really quick. Didn't get to dodge it.
Who the hell is that guy? It's Tracer! Get dirty ass me! I'm done out here than a damn fruitcake! How many of us is gonna come? Just kill him for Christ's sake!
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
Wait, what? I'm pretty sure I'm dead. I'm supposed to be dead anyway. Okay. Checkpointed me there then. Dynamites? Is that proper English? I don't think so. Would it not be like 1 dynamite, 2 dynamite? Maybe I'm wrong. What the I know?
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me. Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Yeah, I lost the focus there. I deserve to die there. He's quick, isn't he? No, I just didn't. You know when you feel like you don't have it, that's just how I felt there. Like my heart wasn't in that attempt. It just wasn't there. Getting there, getting better. That was a decent attempt.
As fast as he was, I was just a bit faster. And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me.
Thank you.
Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
Oh, I thought I dodged that. Do you not think I dodged that? Oh, come on.
He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch's Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him. Those were his last words.
Struggled a bit with the end there, but we got there in the end.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday. I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
I am not gonna read that. I didn't mean to open that. Clearly.
Now wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this. They hopped a freight train having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train. The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head.
God damn you!
Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I reached
James
that...
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell? Anyway, Excuse me, Ben. Where would I
For some
find a
reason, it
gentleman's
had me
facilities?
looking at the ceiling.
Suddenly, I have an urgent need to
That
drain
just
my
happened on its
one-eyed
own.
snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you.
I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
bar.
you seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
Well, that's better. Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof. At some point, some sumbitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!"
It's a damn Pinkerton!
Now, I never worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins. Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. So it's no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember.
I bet you are.
Kill that pissant!
Get out here, you coward!
You don't want to mess with us!
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward.
I thought shooting the chins would maybe work. Well, guess that works too. Or maybe not.
It was a rickety ride and quite precarious.
Yeah, you're telling me.
You can't hide from me! Shoot that stupid son of a bitch!
What in tarnation?
I don't know what's going on here. Some sort of magic. Like, what's going on there?
Do I have to do everything?
The game's cheating.
Shoot that stupid son of a bitch!
I wondered if I was ever gonna find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
I gotta reload again! You're dead.
Ivory handled quick shooter, that sounds good.
This asshole don't know who he's up against.
I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
Very close.
There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day.
Yeah, you know you can't beat me.
You'll die for this, you hear me?
It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train. I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah. Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you. Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle. After my showdown with Jesse, I continued to track his brother, Frank, and that son of a bitch, Jim. I followed those bastards into the high mountains as they were going to ground.
What mountains would that be?
Somewhere in the Ozarks, I believe. A perfect place to hide out from the authorities.
I think I'm gonna leave it there, actually. Yeah, it's coming up at midnight. We'll leave it there. And I'll continue tomorrow. I know it's a pretty short game, so we should be able to finish it tomorrow. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. And yeah. No problem at all. Thank you for being here. And I'm just going to end the stream.